All right, so we've done the percent proportions and how to set them up. So we're going to do some examples with word problems. All right, so our first word problem talks about Janelle, and it said that Janelle made a fruit cake using bananas and apples. 40% of the fruits are bananas. If you use a total of 120 fruits, how many apples should she use? So with the information that we are given, we can find out how many bananas she used. And from there, we can determine the number of apples she used. So we are comparing bananas to total fruits. All right, so remember the bananas is a part and the total fruit is our whole. All right, and then we're going to write our percent proportion because we have our percents as well. All right, so bananas, we don't know yet, but we're going to find out. But we know that there's 120 total fruits. We know that that's 40%, and we put 40% over 100 or 40 over 100 because this means out of 100. All right, 40% is 40 out of 100. So we're going to cross multiply. That gives us 4,800 or 4,800. We're going to divide that by 100, and that's going to give us 48 bananas. Okay, so now we know how many bananas there are. Now, let's find out how many apples. All right, so we know there's 48 bananas, and we know that there's 120 fruits. 120 total fruits. All right, so we're going to take our 120 total, and we're going to take away our 48 bananas, and that's going to leave behind how many apples we have. So 120 minus 48 gives us 72 apples. All right, so our question asks how many apples. So we have 72 apples. We couldn't stop at 48 because 48 tells us how many bananas there are. So 48 doesn't answer our question. So we couldn't stop at 48. All right, let's look at another problem. All right, so the next problem says John just hired a new employee to work in your bake shop. Sorry. In 1 hour, the employee burned 150 chocolate chip cookies. If this represented 15% of the day's production, how many cookies did you plan producing that day? All right, so we have the burnt cookies and the total amount that you are going to produce that day. All right, and then of course we have our percent. So he burned 150. So we don't know exactly what our total is for the day. But we do know that 150 is 15% of however much we plan to produce in one day. So we're going to cross multiply. So we get 15,000. And then we're going to divide 15,000 by 15. And we get 1,000. So my answer is 1,000 cookies. That were going to be produced that day. All right, so remember, you set up your proportion just like you normally would. You put your X value where you need to, whether it's the part or the whole, and then you write your percent over 100 because percent means out of 100.